And Ms. Gonzalez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, the public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location, was distributed by 3 p.m. on Wednesday, May 13th, 2020, in the following manner. Posted on the bulletin board reserved for announcements in the board office, Old Georges Road, North Brunswick. Mailed to the Home News Tribune, Sentinel, and the clerk of the Township of North Brunswick, and delivered to the 9 duly elected board members. Dr. Sikowski?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, and welcome everyone. We have millions of viewers, I know, out in viewing land, and we're actually being streamed live on YouTube, our new home for live meetings, but we're also here on our Zoom presentation. And tonight, before I introduce our Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Patella, to kick off our Teacher of the Year, I just want to add a few words and some background. I've been here as superintendent since 2007, and one thing we wanted to make sure remain a constant tribute to the best of the best. We didn't want to make it a retirement ceremony. We didn't want to make it a feel-good ceremony for those who've been here doing other things other than outstanding educating and teaching. We want to make a process and create a process that recognized the best of the best. And I think we have accomplished that with the work of central office in conjunction with our principals and staff. We've given a rubric, a metric to which we can accurately monitor and present to the board and the public our best educators for this year. And it should be a tribute. As you know, we have more than 1,100 employees in our district. And for you to be selected the best at what you do certainly speaks volumes of not only what you're doing, but how you're being recognized, because you're contributing to the model and meeting the standard and exceeding the standard of what it means to be an educator, and meeting all the non-negotiable core beliefs that we hold so true to our mission. If you don't meet those non-negotiable core beliefs of diversity, all children can learn and all children deserve the best, and all means all, every day, every school, every classroom, then you wouldn't be here tonight. So thank you to our principals, our administrators, our teachers, selecting the best of the best. So with that, I welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. I do have one announcement for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I miss somebody? 7 recipients. I polished a lot of apples tonight. The 7 recipients that will be receiving recognition tomorrow, by the end of tonight, look in your email. I will send you a link to the daily broadcast the mayor and I put for North Brunswick Township community. And I'm asking you, as the Teacher of the Year, to come on the broadcast, and the mayor and I will ask you a few questions as we broadcast the great things. First, we do the serious news, and then the mayor's been very gracious to allow us to give updates about what's going on in our schools, because we're a big part of the community. And I want to be able to highlight the 7 of you, the Teachers of the Year, the 7 teachers that deserve this recognition. And I'll say very quickly, Lisa, Donna, Evelyn, Marjorie, Joanna, Kelly, and Angela. I want to recognize you publicly to the community, even though they may see you tonight. Here we have millions of viewers. I have high TV ratings, but we're going to put you on TV tomorrow. So look for the invitation. Hopefully it's not too early. I want you to sign on about 8:15, and we'll get going about 8:20, and we'll broadcast it to about 8:50, 8:55. It's live streamed, and then every hour on the hour it will be broadcast on our local North Brunswick channel 15. With that being said, congratulations to all. Thank you for upholding that standard, not only for what North Brunswick teachers are all about and educators, what really it means to be an educator. This is a calling, and thank you for answering that calling and doing it so well. With that, Mr. Patella, I know you've worked so hard with your department, with Ms. Rumbo. Why don't you take away the program as we all look forward to hearing more about our excellent teachers. Let me unmute you. Hold on, Mr. Patella. Words that you don't hear often. Let me unmute you.
Thank you, Dr. Zakowski. If you could please give me screen sharing capabilities.
Oh, I like that power. I'm sorry, community. I hate doing that. I will do it, but it's something I can't give up too easily.
Thanks so much. So the first thing I want to say is thank you to Dr. Zakowski and the board for giving me this opportunity to,
Here you are.
I'm going to say MC the evening, the festivities. And the next thing I want to say is
you have ability
congratulations.
now, Mr. Patella. You can share.
Thank you. The next thing I want to say is congratulations to all of us in celebrating this wonderful evening and in recognizing all of you Teachers of the Year. Besides the apple, we have our principals and or administrators speaking about all of you because they know you best. There are adjectives that they will talk about that talk about you and your accomplishments and what makes you great. And typically I have a quote and I talk a little bit just to set a little bit of a tone and a little bit of a scene. And I'm doing that again this year. As Dr. Zakowski said, we are not to minimize this evening just because we're not able to be here in person. And so I took a quote from Albert Einstein, who actually Dr. Zakowski says often wouldn't be able to teach for us because he didn't have a certificate. However, he is a physicist and he has a lot of respect. And it is the supreme art of a teacher to awaken joy and creative expression and knowledge. And so what I want to share with you is how do all of you do that to our students? And I think you're able to do that and be successful by completing the 3 R's. And we've talked about this, but awakening joy in students, creative expression and knowledge comes from starting with the 3 R's. Now, if you're a little older, you think the 3 R's are reading, writing, and arithmetic. However, our 3 R's are a little bit different. And we know that you adhere to these 3 R's. The first R is relationships. How do you awaken joy in students? By getting to know them. And by getting to know them, they're more likely to be motivated to learn, and they know that they're cared for. And that sets a climate, that sets a culture for them to want to learn, to feel comfortable and safe. And you've done that. The other thing that you've done, the second R, is you've made lessons relevant to their interests. See, when you get to know students, you know what interests them. And so now when you make lessons relevant, they're more excited to learn because it's about things that they like. And they know that you have an interest in them. And lastly, the third R is rigor. We definitely want to challenge our students. Status quo and just letting things ride isn't what we're about. And when students are able to be challenged and overcome the challenge and achieve, there's nothing like it. And you're there to celebrate with them. And so I think all of you, when I thought of all of you and saw all of the educators of the year, I thought this is something that you have all achieved after speaking to all of your principals. And so I'm so excited to be here and for Dr. Zakowski and the board to allow me to run this recognition program for this year. So again, I want to congratulate you and I want to wish you the very best. And during this year, which has been very difficult, very different, you haven't wavered from your desire and from your professionalism to achieve and have our students achieve. Because see, everybody, we're not so interested in what our teachers are doing. We're interested in what our teachers are doing for our kids. We need our students to learn, and that's what's most important. And so, without further ado, I'm going to congratulate Donna Saeva, our preschool child study team member. And if Mr. Scott Pastor could come on board and say a few words about Ms. Saeva.
Hold on, let me mute everyone and I'll have to unmute just Scott. Hold on. Give me a chance to unmute just Scott, and then we'll unmute those because we had too much of a feedback in the background. So Scott, give me a minute because we have a lot of people on board. I'm trying to find your, I know you're on because I let you in. Okay, where's my friend Scott? There you are, Scott. I can unmute you. You're good to go, Scott, and I'll get.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to Dr. Zakowski, the Board of Education, Mr. Patella, Central Office, and all these wonderful educators out there that are part of our North Brunswick schools. I wanted to just take a couple minutes to just let you know a little about our NBT ECC, or overall our NBT Preschool Teacher of the Year, Ms. Donna Saeva. We are so fortunate in preschool to have Mrs. Saeva, and the relationships that she's built in all of her different capacities help all the students, family, and community in our preschool program. Mrs. Saeva is our school social worker. She's a child study team member with students at the ECC, Judd, Livingston Park, Oscillero, Lightbridge, and also some of our out-of-district students. She's our contact person for the EI, our early intervention program. A new role this year that she's undertaken is the family community liaison as part of our preschool expansion. She's a team player and also there for her team as also as the head union rep at the ECC. All of these things that Donna she takes on with dedication, hard work, empathy, and so many other skills that make her such an important member of our preschool team. One of the key things I think that Mrs. Saeva does that's so important to our preschool community is something that has an effect on our entire school district. She's often one of the first members as an entry point to the MBT schools community, working with preschool families as they get ready to send their child to our schools for the first time. Being a person that can do that and to relate to all of our families and to understand each and every individual need takes a remarkable human being. And we're fortunate that Mrs. Saeva is that for all of us. When I asked some of the staff members we work with to give some words of characteristics of Donna, words like empathetic, understanding, dedicated, calm, professional, hardworking,
your videos on,
visible, available, and always there to help a student, a family, or a staff member. I am honored in my first year to work with Mrs. Saeva as I've been welcomed by her and the entire preschool community. And we're really, really fortunate to have her. But to sum everything up, I thought it would be best to take a quote from some teachers who wrote about her, because I think it really symbolizes so much of how important she is and how critical she is to the success of our preschool program. And this person said, Mrs. Saeva serves as a link between the schools, community, and home, is continuously striving to empower families and staff. She supports, consults with staff, parents, administrators to provide positive behavioral supports, academic, classroom assistance, and anything that a student needs. Her dedication to her students and their families help their children reach their fullest potential, both socially, emotionally, and academically. Mrs. Saeva is tireless in her efforts on behalf of her students. For these reasons, Mrs. Saeva has been honored as the Educator of the Year at the North Brunswick Township Early Childhood Center.
There in my day.
Mrs. Saeva, we're very proud of you. And if we could let Mrs. Saeva, this is from the entire team, the leadership team, Mrs. Nicosia, Mrs. Havens, and everyone else at the ECC. We are all so fortunate to have you, and I'm lucky to call you a colleague and friend. Thank you, Donna, for all you do for our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Mr.
live, Mrs.
Kessler.
Sieva. A few words, baby.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to say thank you. It's truly an honor. It's a privilege to work in North Brunswick, to work with the ECC staff, to work with the parents, the preschool team, the child study team, our community members. I love it. I really enjoy working in North Brunswick. I'm honored that they recognize me for this, and I thank them. And I'd like to recognize them as well, because it's a great place to work. And just want to say thank you.
You are welcome, Donna. I got to mute everyone again. Can people maybe on board? Please mute yourself. Miss Glover, for some reason my controls won't mute you. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Mr. Slover, you as well.
He might have accidentally unmuted you. You got to be careful.
Congratulations. Mr. Pastor, great job. You can tell there's a lot of love and a lot of caring going on in the MBT ECC, and all those students and all those your colleagues are benefiting, and it's just great to be a part of. Great job.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, our next recipient is none other than Angela Mosbrucker from John Adams School. So Dr. Johnson and your team, if you would.
Click on that. Participants. Click on participants.
Just give the names.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Johnson. Dr. Zakowski, board president, members of the school board, and Mr. Patel. This evening, want to welcome also our Dean of Students, Ms. Ann Kingsley is joining us, and our Director of Instruction, Mrs. Stern. We're very excited to have the opportunity to speak a little bit about Angela Mosbrucker. I've been at John Adams for 8 years and had the chance to work with her, and we're just so thrilled that the staff and the administration identified her as being the outstanding person this year. What I'm going to do is share a lot of quotes about Angela from her colleagues, just the feedback they've given us. So here we go. Mrs. Mosbrucker is a kind person that everyone needs in their life. He is kind to children. I think is the most important thing when it comes to teaching. She supports the students' social and emotional needs while teaching them the academic subjects they need to be successful in.
The Goldbergs, it has a school.
Angela's classroom is warm and inviting. She gets to know each of her students inside and out and finds the positive in each child. It's fostered such a positive climate in her classroom that all the students accept and care for one another. A team player, and will help out in any way she can within her classroom, collaborate with her team across her grade level or at another grade level. She has transitioned to different positions many times in John Adams and always does it with grace and humility. For example, this year she's a 4th grade teacher. For the prior 7 years with her, she had been teaching 3rd grade, mainstream. She's worked inclusion. She currently worked with a teammate very well. And even last year, when we had to make a move to have an inclusion team at 4th grade, she came with her teammate and said that we would love to have this opportunity to work with those students moving forward because we know where they are and we want to continue to see them shine. So that's another example of that type of demeanor she has.
Who's the teacher?
Growth mindset in her students, where she reminds everyone that it is okay to run into challenging tasks, but she encourages every student to persevere and to experience new things while reminding the students that she and her colleagues will be there to support them. And makes John Adams a better and happier place, and a better place to nice to work. So these are just some things, Angela, that a number of your colleagues had shared with us in their feedback and identifying you. And let you know we're very proud of you, and we love that you've had such a deep impact on the staff. Myself as administrator, the students and the John Adams community, we want to say thank you. I know Dean Kingsley is here. Maybe Ms. Dean Kingsley wants to add something possibly?
I would love to just say a couple of words about not only my colleague, but my good friend Angela Mausberger, and I will be very brief. I'm on Google Classroom every single day, and what I've noticed about Angela's students, because of her wonderful social emotional learning in her classroom, they did a great job transitioning to remote learning. They are so excited to be on. They are so excited to learn. They are so excited to see each other that I think that she didn't know, none of us knew what was going to happen, but because of the way she runs her classroom with her co-teacher, they're doing okay, those kids, and I'm just very happy to see that. So I don't want to take any more time, but I do love Angela, and she's a wonderful teacher. We are so very lucky to have her in John Adams.
Well, I love that we have full participation. Thank you, Miss Ann Kingsley. But whoever has the background, I've been trying to mute as many people as possible. For some reason, even Miss Mossbrecker, even the dogs are barking. So whoever let the dogs out, they're celebrating your Teacher of the Year award as well. So thank you.
Ms. Stern or no?
I just muted Miss Stern. She didn't know she was on, but I just muted you. Sorry, Miss Stern. But anyway, I think we're good to go now. And I just want to say congratulations, thank you. And the key words speak for itself on the picture. If we look on the screen, caring, nurturing, innovative, and selfless. Can't think of 4 better traits than some for a professional in education to have. Thank you, Ms. Mossbrucker.
And Dr. Zakowski, would you want Angela to have anything to say, or?
Oh, please, you can unmute yourself, Angela, and please.
Sure, thank you so much. I just want to say that my JA family has given me so much support and mentorship, and it sounds corny and original, but I really want to thank the district and especially John Adams for allowing me to be the teacher that, the kind of teacher that I always needed and wanted. So thank you for giving me that trust and freedom and flexibility to be the kind of teacher that I wanted to have growing up. I think it's so important what you said before, Mr. Patella, about relationships and connections with students. And I really feel like that is the foundation of my classroom. So it feels silly to be honored for something that brings me so much joy, but I really thank everyone so much. And I couldn't do it alone. I have a wonderful team, Erin and Martha. We work together, and everyone at JA, thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you, Angela. And as I mentioned earlier in the quote, awakening joy, we teach the whole child. And especially now through this time, we're so concerned. Academics is important, but teaching the whole child and having them feel cared for and awakening their joy is where you could tell Miss Kingsley said it. You excel in that area, and the transition from your classroom from the day-to-day to the virtual was seamless because of how much you care. So great job. Congratulations. So well deserved. You're welcome. All right.
Now I must ask you to mute yourself. Sorry, Angela.
So that brings us to our next recipient. It's hard to move on from everybody. It's like you almost want to spend another half hour just feeling good about the person we just recognized. But we are going to move on to Joanna Campana from Judd School. So without further ado, Mr. Schmidt, principal of Judd.
I got to mute a few people here.
Okay, I'll wait for the dogs to stop barking, and then I'll speak.
All right. It's hard. We get so many on. It's tough to control. All right. You're up, Mr. Schmidt, and I'll try to control who I can control.
Okay, well, good evening. I want to thank the Board of Education members, Dr. Zakowski, Mr. Patella, for allowing me to be here to honor Mrs. Campana. I want to start with a quote, like Mr. Patella started with a quote. I'd like to share a quote, and it's an old adage that says, "A mediocre teacher
Whoops. Sorry, say that again.
Teacher, pardon me?
Say that again. I muted you by mistake.
Okay, I'll start again. So the quote was that a mediocre teacher tells, a good teacher explains, a superior teacher demonstrates, and a great teacher inspires. And that's what Mrs. Campana does each and every year, each and every day, each and every minute that she's with her students. Ironically, last year's Teacher of the Year from Judd was Mrs. Campana's co-teacher in an inclusion room. And it's kind of hard to separate the two. They were both very deserving. So it's so appropriate that Mrs. Campana is being honored this year, because once her partner last year won the Teacher of the Year, she went out on maternity leave. And this year, Mrs. Campana has had various substitutes in that room. There's been a lot of transition of students in and out of that room, but you wouldn't know it because Joanna maintained everything that needed to be in place for those kids. She did the work of two people sometimes because that's who she is. She's dedicated, she's innovative, and Joanna, I use tenacious in the most complimentary way. She won't give up. She drives for what she wants for her kids and for herself. Joanna creates in her classroom a warm and nurturing environment for all of her students, where every single student feel they are a vital member of that classroom community. If you go into Joanna's room, you cannot tell which are the gen ed students and which are the special ed students, because they are all treated equally and equitably and all given what they need to be successful. She exudes high expectations for each and every learner, each and every day. And she herself is a lifelong learner. As good as she is always trying to find ways to get better, finding a workshop. She's always looking to improve and hone her own skills. With her instruction, she's flexible and adjusts her learning based on the needs of her kids. She'll do that seamlessly on the spot. She's also a leader. And when I say a leader, she's not just the leader of her classroom, she is also our current third grade level leader for the past few years. And she is a leader within the entire Judd School staff. And while she is a leader, she's also collaborative. She works collaboratively with all of her colleagues, again, for the betterment of each and every student. So to sum up, Joanna is accessible, warm, caring, nurturing, all of these things. And on behalf of the entire Judd School students, staff, and families, it is my honor to celebrate Mrs. Joanna Campana as our Teacher of the Year. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Joanna. Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. Joanna, you can unmute yourself, and we'd love to hear a few words from you.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody, and it is an absolute privilege to work in North Brunswick and get the opportunity to work with the kids that I work with every single day. I do what I do for them. They put a smile on my face and bring me so much joy, and they are what motivate me to be a better teacher each and every day. The support of my family, my grade level team, and the rest of my Judd family is what has shaped me into being the teacher that I am today. And I thank them so much for teaching me so many things and working collaborative with me and just helping me be a better teacher each and every day. Thank you.
Mrs. Campana, thank you so much. I do have to ask the question. I know everyone's wondering, how is the family? How's the little one? How's everything going?
Oh, no, that's not me. That's Mrs. Walters, but she's doing well.
Oh, I thought I was gonna say that's a surprise to me. So,
No.
and been a surprise for your husband, Kevin, as well. I'm glad we got that straight for everyone. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Joanna.
Congratulations, Joanna.
Congratulations. Well deserved, Mr. Schmidt. Great job. It's just great to be a part of a district that celebrates as we do. So thank you very much. All right, we move on to another elementary school, and that is Kelly Muller from Livingston Park. Congratulations, Kelly. Our
Mr. Patel, please, there you go. Good. There you go.
Our principal, Mr. Dawson, if you would. Was I muted, Brian?
No.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Z, Mr. Patella, Board of Ed members. Congratulations to all of our educators that are being recognized tonight. What a wonderful group of staff members and teachers here in North Brunswick. So Mrs. Finnegan and Mrs. Wright and I are quite enthusiastic to recognize Kelly Muller tonight. Ms. Muller embodies many of the characteristics that are indicative of what is great about our school community. She's dedicated, devoted, positive, and caring. Kelly is often one of the first teachers to arrive at school, sometimes around 7 a.m., and she's often one of the last to leave, as she often takes graduate school classes after school hours with many other teachers in the district to pursue further learning. What stands out about Kelly is her lessons. Her lessons are individualized and differentiated. Kelly is a talented teacher that's able to be successful with just about any type of student. She works with our students who are learning English as a second language and has done so for many years with pride. And she creates a really positive and powerful classroom community. Every day, students in Kelly's class begin their day with a classroom pledge, where they pledge to support, honor, and challenge each other to greater learning. Her lessons are rigorous, they're strong, the classroom environment is positive, and on a typical day at Livingston Park, even though Kelly teaches 4th grade, you can find a line of 5th graders waiting to have lunch with their former teacher, just to update her on how they're doing in class. She is really the embodiment of many of the things that we seek in a teacher. And at the end of the day, I think the power of a teacher lies in how they impact their students. And when I think about Kelly, I think about one moment this past fall, where I had the pleasure of joining her in a parent-teacher conference to translate. And the parent shared with us at the conference that her child had come to the United States this past September after experiencing some difficulties in his native country. He was really struggling. He was sad and depressed. And after just a little bit of time in Kelly's class, her child became excited, smiling, happy to attend school, and really enthusiastic about learning. And by the end of the conference, we were so proud of Ms. Muller and the student and the great work that takes place in our classrooms here in the district. We are proud to honor and recognize a fantastic teacher, Ms. Kelly Muller.
Great job, Mr. Dawson.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Kelly.
Kelly, if you could unmute yourself, congratulations. Again, dedicated, devoted, positive, and caring. 4 attributes that speak for themselves. Kelly, you have the mic.
Thank you. Like all of the other teachers before, I'm very privileged and honored to receive this award. Like many others had said, this is just something that we kind of do every day, and the kids really encourage us to go there every day with a smile on our face and to be the best that we can, to be there for them and to do what they need and to give them what they need in order for them to be successful. So I love what I do. I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else. And I'm so honored and proud to be a teacher at LP and in the North Brunswick School District.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Another teacher awakening joy in students. Awesome. All right, we're going to move on to our Parsons recipient, and that is Lisa Rudolph. Congratulations, Lisa. And our principal, Mrs. Whalen, will say a few words about Lisa.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Zakowski, Mr. Patella, members of the Board of Education, award recipients in our North Brunswick community. I'd like to take a moment to congratulate all of our winners on this well-deserved honor. A special congratulations to our passionate, dedicated, inspiring child advocate, Parsons Teacher of the Year, Ms. Rudolph. It is an honor and privilege to work alongside this truly dynamic professional. Ms. Rudolph is an exceptional educator who devotes herself to the success of her students. She not only teaches her students, but she's a teacher for parents and staff, sharing her expertise to ensure that her students reach their maximum potential. She works hard to make sure her students grow as individuals and are proud of their accomplishments. She instills an independence and a self-worth in each of her students. Ms. Rudolph is an innovative and committed teacher who embraces each challenge professionally and ambitiously. She supports her students academically, emotionally, and behaviorally. Her drive and passion inspire all of those around her to be the best that they can be. Her students will remember the way she challenged them, the way she made them feel, the encouragement that she gave them, the values that she taught them, the way that she helped them to understand the world, analyze it, and ask questions. She helped provide them with the foundations and building blocks to become their future selves. In addition to her regular school day, she serves as our grade level leader. She runs multiple extracurricular programs for the academic and social and emotional growth of all students. Ms. Rudolph is a teacher who truly cares about the school community and does everything she can for the benefit of all. In closing, on behalf of our entire Parsons family, we thank Lisa and all of the recipients we honor today for devoting their lives to inspiring our children. Thank you and congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Ms. Whalen. And Lisa, great job, as Ms. Whalen shared. So if you want to say a few words, please.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say thank you so much for this amazing honor. I feel so lucky to be part of the North Brunswick community for the past 12 years, working with such amazing administrators, colleagues, students, and their families. I have loved the relationships we have all built together. I truly love what I do, and I love the kids. And I just want to say thank you so much for this honor.
You are
Thank
welcome.
you, Lisa. We know how modest all of our teachers of the year, but thank you. And I do want to, again, for the screen, just to read for our folks who are on cell phones. We have some folks on cell phones. So it says passionate, dedicated, inspiring advocate. Again, adding to those list of attributes that are non-negotiable for the great teachers. So thank you, Ms. Rudolph.
Thank you.
All right, we are up to our Linwood Middle School, current Linwood Middle School Teacher of the Year, Evelyn Gonzano. And so we have our principal, Mr. Rick Salover, to speak about Evelyn.
Very nice. Well, good evening, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Zakowski, Mr. Patella, and thank you all for having us tonight, and congratulations to all of our District Educators of the Year. It is indeed right and fitting that the final Educator of the Year for what we know as Linwood Middle School is Mrs. Evelyn Genzano. Many teachers at Linwood deserve this award, but no one deserves it more than she.
Come see.
It is an absolute honor and a joy to present Evelyn, a highly respected colleague and a dear friend of mine, as our Educator of the Year. Evelyn has been an outstanding teacher of 8th grade language arts at Linwood for many years. Her class is engaging and supportive, and she has very high standards for all of her students. Excuse me. And she has a unique way of creating a very comfortable environment for learning to occur. We taught on the same team for a long time and became very good friends. She taught my daughter, and actually both of our daughters were on the same dance team for a few years, so we know each other on quite a few levels. Selfishly, I can say that as a teacher and administrator and now as principal, she has always been right there for me with candid, sound advice and feedback that has kept me and our staff grounded and true to who we are. Evelyn is always there to tell us what we need to hear, even if it isn't necessarily what we want to hear. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that we can never repay her for that. We were asked to provide a few terms that describe our honorees this evening, and here are my terms for Evelyn. Calm. Evelyn has a soothing presence with students and staff. Her classroom is like a spa. It's productive, it's focused, and serene. It was always a contrast to my class when I was teaching because I was much more bombastic in the classroom, and yet we taught the same kids. She is extremely dedicated. She is the go-to person for staff, including myself, for a well-balanced, rational perspective. She is always thinking about the good of the students and the good of the school. Passionate. Evelyn cares so very deeply about every aspect of language arts, in particular reading. And even I have benefited from that. Although I have always read a lot, I am now a much more well-rounded reader as a person because she has inspired me to be that way. An impact that has no doubt been experienced by countless of her students. And my last term is all in. Whether it is PTSO meetings, the semi-formal, or anything in between, she's right there. And her work as our organizer for the annual community day that we've had has been second to none. Evelyn is a fantastic teacher, an exemplary employee, and an even better person. With that out of the way, I will add that she has this, well, she's one of the wittiest people I know. And she has what I will call a ninja-like sense of humor. You don't know it's there, you don't see it coming, and then it strikes, and you wonder what hit you. I have been on the receiving end of this numerous times over the years. But in all seriousness, Evelyn, on behalf of the staff, students, and families of Linwood Middle School, congratulations. Again, no one deserves this honor more, and we could not be happier for you.
Thank you, Mrs. Silova. Congratulations, Evelyn. Well said.
Evelyn, you're going to have to bring on your ninja humor and unmute yourself, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
I can't bring the humor because I'm just so shocked that Rick hasn't always wanted to hear the things I had to say. I did want to say, I think probably one of the luckiest things that's happened to me in my life was getting hired at Linwood Middle School almost 20 years ago now. Being part of the North Brunswick school system has helped me grow as a person and given me immense joy for 2 decades. And one of the special things I think about Linwood is the way that the staff works together. And I don't think any of us could do what we do without the help of all of our colleagues and everyone that we work with. And I've been incredibly lucky in that regard. And also in the students that I've gotten to work with for the past 2 decades. So it's one of the most important things in my life. And thank you very much for that. And Rick, thank you very, very much for that speech.
Congratulations again, Evelyn. And congratulations.
And now I'm going to mute myself.
Thank you, Evelyn. Well done, well deserved.
Terrific. All right, our last recipient of the evening from our high school, and that is Marjorie Federico. Congratulations, Marjorie. And none other than Mr. Neller will share some thoughts about Marjorie.
Good evening, everybody. Dr. Zakowski, the Board of Education.
Hold on, Mr. Neller. Mr. Patel, can you move to slide 1 for us?
I am trying. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm going to take away co-host powers if you don't get this right, Mr. Patel.
I know. There it is.
There we go. Excellent.
I apologize.
Mr. Neller, you're on board, and you saved your co-host job, Mr. Patel.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's very nice to see everyone this evening, and it is my pleasure to recognize the MBTHS Teacher of the Year, Marjorie Federico, who is our transition coordinator. Marjorie is an exceptionally skilled and dedicated educator. She began at our school as a teacher and then moved into this special role supporting our students with disabilities for life after high school as the transition coordinator. As part of her responsibilities, she places students in structured learning experiences in our community at over 20 job locations. And it's not uncommon for our students to be seen around town, working at places like ShopRite, Retro Fitness, various offices, McDonald's, and many other businesses. And Marjorie coordinates all of that for our students. She inspires her students to help them and be successful, whether it is encouraging them in their work experiences. She regularly can be seen throughout the North Brunswick community, checking in with her students, helping her students, making sure that they're successful working out in the public. She also encourages them to speak publicly at Board of Education meetings and at the annual Dare to Dream Student Leadership Conference. She inspires our staff through training and developing programs for them that will increase their support of special education students in our building. We really work very hard to run an inclusive environment at the high school. Marjorie's been a big part of that. Last year, she was looking for more learning experiences within our building. And we were able to not only have her students begin working in our copy center alongside our copy center clerk, but she also established a very popular delivery service where students from her programs will deliver copies to the teachers in their workstations, and our teachers have loved it. It's made one, task very easy for them in the building during the day. She has strong relationships with the community, with parents. She regularly gives up her own time to run parent nights at our school for special ed parents. She's built relationships with our local government agencies to support our students. In short, Marjorie has gone above and beyond to ensure that the special education needs of students in North Brunswick are met. She's a big part of the reason why I believe we have some of the best special education programs in Middlesex County. Her adjectives are caring, supportive, and resourceful. And I believe that they truly epitomize the kind of teacher and professional Marjorie is in the way that she cares about her students on a day-to-day basis. So I just want to say congratulations to Marjorie. This is a well-deserved honor.
Congratulations, Marjorie. Great job, Mr. Neller. Marjorie, do you have anything you'd like to say to the group?
I do. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to start by thanking Mrs. Van Langen, thanking you, Mr. Neller, for such kind words. Mr. Harry and Dr. Zakowski for always supporting our self-contained programs at the high school. And it's just truly a great honor to be named Teacher of the Year. And when I originally found out the news, it kind of just left me speechless. So now that I've had some time, I'm ready. I certainly wouldn't be receiving this award today without the incredible team of dedicated professionals that I get to work with every single day. They're encouraging, hardworking, and they have a passion like no other when it comes to helping our students. And they make me a better teacher, and I couldn't be more thankful to work with them. And I also just wanted to thank my amazing students. It's truly a privilege to help them find success as they explore their endless possibilities while preparing for life after high school. So thank you very much. It's truly an honor.
Congratulations again, Marjorie.
Thank you.
Ms. Federico, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm 32 weeks pregnant, so
yes,
we're doing good. Me and baby boy are good.
Great. I messed up. I confused Mrs. Walters and Mr. Campagna. Mrs. Campagna and Kevin already texted me and said he wants to know what I know. So I kind of had a mix up. So I just wanted to make sure, let everyone know that we know you are doing well and you are about to have a baby boy. So we're so happy for you. So congratulations.
You so Thank you.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to all the participants. And I would like to reiterate again, Dr. Zakowski takes this honor very, very seriously, very prestigious honor. We normally have, and if you want to add in Dr. Zakowski, we normally have a luncheon in June, and Dr. Zakowski, who's well respected in the state, always manages to get someone to be a guest speaker that is an outstanding guest speaker. It ranges. I think we even had Mr. Bush as a guest speaker, if I'm not mistaken.
That was a tough year. That was a tough year, Mr. Patel. I was a little on my C game, but yes, Mr. Bush did rise to the occasion. Was a wonderful speaker.
So hopefully, I don't know how it'll all work out, but hopefully, I know Dr. Zakowski won't let this slip by as far as honoring you as much as we can, because we really think so much of all of you and this award each year.
Mr. Patella, if you can just take your screen down and let us go back to, I want to say a few words in closing and then turn the meeting back over to our president. Hello, everyone. It's good to get the screen down. On behalf of the board and all the principals, central office, one of the things we're doing is, I don't know if you can see my screen. There's the apple. No, can you not see my screen? Okay. There's the apple. It has every one of our recipients. We're going to have this delivered to our wonderful teachers and educators, along with, we're still going to have a luncheon. And where we're going to do it is we're going to make sure we provide a lunch at your home, delivered to you. And what we're going to do after that, our administrators will get together and it will come out of our contributions. So we're not taking any other funds. And we're going to have a keynote speaker and do a kind of a remote lunch together because we certainly do not want this pandemic to diminish this program and the work you have done. It has diminished some of our capacities in a lot of ways that we're fighting back to restore. And this is one of the things I want to continue to fight back in the face of this pandemic, socially distancing programming by putting back our Teachers of the Year and having a luncheon, having a keynote speaker. We're going to get it done this year. It'll be in June, more to come. So I do look forward to letting you all know when we can get that done. And we can have a nice luncheon. We'll include all of our administrators like we've done in the past. And we can deliver your awards. We can deliver even a internal celebration and a nice luncheon, which is typical of what we try to do for our, the previous winners. So in no means will this pandemic get the best of us as we look to make sure we honor our core values. There's 3 core values, folks. It's teacher, content, and of course, the most important, student. That is the instructional core of our world, and it will never waver. And you folks are you make up 2/3 of that and the 2/3 educate the most important part of our core value, which is our students. So teacher and content. Now, I will close and turn over the meeting to our Madam President, but I do have to close with 2 quotes. I heard it, people, and Mr. Patel had a nice quote, and many of our principals used some quotes. John F. Kennedy once said, "We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives." And this is why we're going to continue to have our luncheon to honor all of you for what you're doing, because you are making a difference in not only our lives as administrators, as board members, as community members. You're making a difference in the lives of the most important people that we signed up to do and help. It's a student. So thank you. And I will close with this as in behalf of the community. One of the quotes I like to use all the time is from Winston Churchill. He was describing the Royal Air Force when they fought off the attack on London. He said, "Never before has so many owed so much to so few." And so on behalf of our community, so I want to say we owe you so much, and there's so few that we get, opportunities to get to say thank you. And there's so much you're doing for every child, every day, in every classroom, in every school. So Madam President, on behalf of our board and our community, I just want to say thank you again. And I know how important this meeting is, this recognition is to the board. It's circled on our calendar every year. And I just want to open it up to you, Madam President, to speak, to say a few words before some of our wonderful recipients decide to step away, if they do step away. Madam President?
Madam President, if I could just sneak in before you for a second.
Madam President, he's pushing, right? I think he's getting his co-host business down. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Patella.
Give him a moment. Give him a moment. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gonzalez. I want to thank Denise Brigandy, my assistant, who helped me gather all the information. I want to thank Sandy Pedersen, who assisted with getting the apples for the recognition for the teachers. And I want to thank Amy Rumbo, who helped me with the presentation. And so, as you can see, I need a lot of help. But I also want to say that it's an honor and a privilege to work in a district that cares so much about students and who cares so much about each other. And working for Dr. Zakowski and you, the Board of Education, is really a privilege and an honor. So I just wanted to share that as well. Thank you all.
Madam President.
All right. Did you unmute me?
You are unmuted. We hear you, and we look forward to hearing more about our wonderful teachers, if you have any.
Yeah, I just wanted to share a few words with all the teachers. First of all, congratulate all of you for this recognition, well deserved. Those of you who have participated in other teacher recognitions with me have heard this story, so just relax for a few minutes while I share it with our Teachers of the Year this year. My grandmother was the greatest influence in my life, and she was a teacher. And growing up, I wanted to be just like her and be a teacher. She ingrained in me the love of reading, opened up her vast library and never limited what I could read despite my early age. And so I've always had a great appreciation, a tremendous respect, and a love for every person who is a teacher and who is giving of themselves to children. I'm not a teacher, but luckily I get to sit on this board and recognize and reward and communicate with all you wonderful teachers in our district. You, the ones that were congratulated today, being a great example of the quality and the love that our teachers have in our district. So thank you very much for all your efforts and congratulations to all of you.
I put my virtual clapping as a Dr. Zoom. I'm soon to be known as. You can see in my picture, the virtual clapping. Well said, Madam President. Well said. I do have to use editorial rights and say, you're not a certified teacher, but as a mom, you are one of the first teachers. So thank you to you as your leadership. And don't sell yourself short. As a mom, you're certainly one of us as educators and teachers. So thank you. And I will turn it back over. I'm going to share my screen and put the agenda back up. Our teachers of the year and our guests are certainly free to stay, but you do not have to stay if you don't want to. So we certainly understand busy times, and you're probably all zoomed out, but we're going to continue with our regular meeting. We have some motions, and then we go to a review for a formal meeting next week to take our action on the majority of the agenda. So with the screen sharing, you will see, everyone, that we have the agenda. Madam President, we are on, you can see the screen number 5.
Item number 5, thank you. Mr. Brockman, would you mind taking item number 5, that motion, please?
Sure. Make a motion to approve the professional development contract between Linwood Middle School and Bootstrap World, data science not to exceed $7,000, grant funded Title I-A reallocated funds.
Second. Mr. Liguori had a second. Ms. Hawk?
Got it. Thank you. Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Liguori?
Yes.
Mr. Liu?
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks, would you mind taking motion item number 6, please?
Sure, Madam President. I would like to make a motion to approve the submission of the North Brunswick Township Schools Health-Related School Closure Plan to the New Jersey Department of Education.
Second.
Okay, discussion, folks, before we take a roll call. We have a first and second. Mr. Brooks made the motion. Ms. Keefe had a second, but let me just, for our community, I know the board knows this as we've talked in student services, our closure plan, we requested an update. So I want to thank central office. I want to thank our administration, our staff that worked on this. We have a requirement by May 22nd, which is this Friday, to resubmit our initial pandemic plan. I'm happy to report that our county superintendent used North Brunswick plan as a model plan. We have updated it. And you're gonna say, closure, we're closed. Yes, but the state wanted all districts to update their plan, and we updated the adjustments necessary. We will submit it after tonight's vote to the state, and then we're working now on our reopening plan. More to come on that. The governor's been a little bit back and forth with some of his comments. We'll report more next week on a reopening plan, but this closure plan is just a continuation of our pandemic plan, which we stopped on a dime on March 12th to go into remote world. So I wanted to give you some context to the community, and that's what that is. It'll be submitted, updated, and it's a working document, but we need board approval to formally submit it.
We have a roll call then on this item?
Yes. Mr. Brockman?
Yes.
Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Ms. Keefe?
Yes.
Mr. Liguori?
Yes.
Mr. Liu?
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Keefe, would you take item 7, please?
Yes, Madam President. I would like to make a motion to approve the revised school calendar for the 2019-20 year.
Second.
Was that Mr. Liguori?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Mr. Liu,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
This motion passes as well.
Thank you. Mr. Liguori, will you take item 8, please?
Yes, Madam President, I'll make a motion to approve a resolution recognizing, endorsing, supporting, and authorizing participation in the consortium of Middlesex County School Districts in renegotiation transportation services contracts as listed.
Second.
Thank you.
Can I have a discussion point just again? Why we're renegotiating? As you know, the law is very clear that we cannot pay as a district, even though we had 180-day bus contracts for our transportation, we could not pay for services that were not rendered. But the Governor Murphy signed a bill that made law that for this school year only, that we must negotiate for the remaining parts of our contracts, the prorated part from March until the end of the school year, the bus contracts, outside contracts that because we have in-house contracts with our staff, but we also have 75% of our students bused with out-of-district contractors. So we are in the middle of negotiating, but the district connected with East Brunswick, South Brunswick, Edison, Old Bridge, big districts to form a consortium to get a fair negotiation. So we didn't negotiate against ourselves, to make a fair negotiation to give a fair return, because we can't give 100% of the contract because we're not getting nearly that for services not rendered. We're not paying for gasoline. We're not going to pay for wear and tear on buses that are not being used. But the governor wants us to negotiate the impact of the staffing needed to use those buses. So that's why we need this officially approved. So as a consortium, the bus companies know that our boards of ed legally approved our membership in this consortium. So I just wanted to give everyone context. We have a first and second. We need a roll call.
Mr. Brockman.
Yes.
Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
Ms. Keefe.
Yes.
Mr. Liguori.
Yes.
Mr. Liu.
Yes.
And Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Excellent.
Thank you. Do we have any, we don't have any old business or new business, correct, Dr. Sakowski?
Madam President, no old or new business as we discussed.
Good, and we will postpone committee reports until next week.
Yes, Madam President, typically we do that on the action meeting. So yep, we'll have all the reports ready to go. Our
Very
board
good.
members have been meeting. Thank you very much, board members.
Yep. Administrative reports, Dr. Sakowski?
Yeah, I normally reserve my reports, and we've had you've been very patient. The community's been patient here, are wonderful teachers. I do have a few updates I just want to give the community, because this week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and by next week it'll be past due. And I just want to remind everyone, check our website, please. We have a huge initiative. We are a stigma-free district. We're a stigma-free community. Everyone's impacted by mental health, and awareness is really a part of breaking down that barrier. So we've had Mindful Mondays with activities, Trauma-Informed Tuesday. Today is Wellness Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thankful Thursday, and Friday is Fun Friday. We have guidelines. Our partnership with Rutgers UBHC, they have a wonderful addition to our virtual health office. They have a place on our website because they're our partners, and they have everything for when teachers are not feeling they need someone to talk to. Our students are 24/7. Our families, we have connections 24/7 to reach out if you need someone. We may be remote. We want to stay connected, and we want to make sure we emphasize this during our Mental Health Awareness Week. I just want to thank all our counselors, Mr. Harry, our supervisors who've been working on this. It's remarkable. Please check out our links. Even if you feel wonderful, you want to know what mental health is all about? It's really about stigma-free. It's eliminating those anxieties, those depressive issues that we may all encounter that may be barriers for families and students, even staff, particularly that's been enhanced during this remote isolation period. So we want to make sure we stay connected, and that's why I wanted to report that tonight. I also want to emphasize the board approved the adjustment on the calendar. The adjustment was necessary because we're giving back the snow days. We're pretty confident there'll be no need for any snow days. We used one snow day on March 12th as we trained our staff. Students were not in school. We did a full day training. That counted as one snow day, and we used two others to back out. The last day of school is no longer June 19th, Friday. It's Wednesday, June 17th, of which our graduation, our virtual graduation, you'll see the principal sending a letter home today to our seniors. We'll advertise that. Our virtual graduation is the last day of school, June 17th, a Wednesday. Mr. Solover's promotion of Linwood Middle School is June 16th. Those eighth graders will be officially promoted when they come to school the next day for a half-day session on June 17th. So last day is June 17th. Want to highlight that. And if we have any of our teachers of the year still on, I see Diana on there. My screen is still, because we have an agenda, being blocked. I do see Miss Saevo there. If I will be sending you an email link. Our teacher of the year will be on our broadcast tomorrow with the mayor's broadcast, just to highlight even further, say a few words. Won't be as long as today, but this evening, but we just want to highlight for the community for the great work. And with that, Madam President, that concludes my administrative report. More to follow next week at our formal meeting.
Thank you, sir. This time we will take a few minutes to review the agenda for the regular public meeting on May 27th. Page one.
We're starting on page 6, Madam President, if everyone can look on the screen. Page 7.
Yep.
Madam President, may I add, on page 7, you see that in page 8 and page 9, you can see a lot of official legalese. And I just want to make sure everyone knows this is a rebonding of our debt. We're happy to share with the community that we got such a great rate. We have a great credit rating. This is debt prior to you and I and the board being on here, but we rebonded and we've been able to get such a great rate. We will be able to save the district residents money and again, save, as you may see on the bond. By law, we have to have a public hearing just on this bond refinance. And so you see it goes all the way to page, I'm moving the screen. We continue, it's a lot of legalese. Mr. Bush could tell you that this format and process was written by lawyers. It's a lot of words and a lot of time. And so
we get paid by the word, right? Don?
Right. I'm bad as a superintendent. I should get paid by the word. Now you'll see
no,
that
we can't afford that.
I know. Thank you very much. Well-deserved criticism. Page 16, you will see that that's where it ends on page 15 on my screen. And then we go into page 16, which is the next week's meeting as we start off the meeting minutes. So we're going to review there. Unless anyone has a question from our Board of Ed about the review of the bond refinance. We talked about this in Mrs. LaGloria will give a report out in business operations next week, but it's on the agenda for next week. And we're on page 16, Madam President.
My page 16 doesn't look like yours.
But we're now, if you could look on the screen, we're gonna.
Yeah, I'll follow yours because.
Yeah, I will play the Vanna White to your Pat Zajac if you wanted to keep it going.
All right, I think, do we need to? Okay, that's good. Keep going.
Okay.
Page 18.
Moving along. Hearing no questions, Madam President, we'll go.
Yeah, please, guys, if you have any comments or questions, please jump in, but this is page 19. Page 20. Page 21. Twenty-two. 23. 24. 25. 26.
Madam President, may I just add for the public, the reason why they see a lot of new appointments, boards of ed have two reorganizations, one at the calendar year where we swear in new board members and do some reorg and reappointments. And then we have one before the fiscal year. So we usually use May and June meetings to do that reorganization as we begin July 1 new fiscal year. So that's why you see all these new appointments, and it's a second reorganization responsibility. So we try to stay on top of it and do each year those dual reorganization recommendations.
Page 27. 28. 29. 30. 31.
Madam President, you can see highlighted for the screen on page 31 and for the board members, the bid opening was today. So we'll have that up for next week as we did a remote bid opening. People dropped it off at a table and then we used social distancing to handle the needed bid. So, and follow the letter of the law. So that's why you see it in yellow.
Okay. Page 32. 33. 34.
And you can see on page 34, we are now ending the review, and it's highlighted, we're ending the review of next week's agenda. And so, Madam President, we need to go, now is where you could have a public session on tonight's meeting.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Zakowski, is there, I don't see anything on change orders. Are there no anticipated change orders on the new school?
Mr. Brockman, no, right now there's no anticipated change orders. And if I may, Mr. Brockman, I know you're part of the business operations and that considers facility as one of our major, we have not had any. There may be some by next week as we are going through. I'm happy to report by Friday of the 29th, I'm told that we'll have the keys and a TCO, and you know what that is, a temporary certificate of occupancy.
Yes.
But we are battling, the only thing we will be battling will be the punch list items. So there may be items for change orders or refunding, depending on how that all shapes out. But we are well within our budget. We are well within our timelines. And we would have had this TCO by May 1st. But as you know, with the pandemic, things slowed down. And we said it's going to be probably about 3 or 4 weeks. So we anticipated, I heard, I'm doing a tour tomorrow on some of the issues with our architect and our construction management. You go through a lot of the issues. So there may be something, but it'll be in its entirety as terms of negotiating the punch list items. So more to come on that, but right now we do not have any change orders.
Great, thank you.
Terrific, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. At this time, I have a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So move.
Who was that?
Tony Brooks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Second.
And thank you. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Mr. Liu,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Madam President, may I just give some context? Because we are not leaving. We're going to leave to go in closed session, but our meeting would not be over because we're going to come back. So I just want to say, you're going to make a motion to go in closed session and read our legalese. And then the board, Mr. Patella, Ms. Hawk, and I will be going into closed session. All of you are welcome. Your session will still be open on Zoom. We'll be in a different link. I'll ask all board members go to a different link. And then we'll come back and report out because we do have some business matters to take care of after we come out of closed session. We're going to be meeting on personnel and legal matters. You can see, Madam President, so I just wanted to give that context. You may have a motion to go in closed session.
Dr. Zakowski? Dr. Zakowski?
Yes, Madam. Yes, Ms. Rumbo.
Do you need to make me host before you leave?
You know how unwilling I am to do that with anybody, but I'm going to do that now as Madam President will send us into, okay?
Thank you.
I'll do that.
You're leaving, Brian?
No, I'm just going to give some host rights to Ms. Rumbo so she can hold the meeting and I can leave and come back. Okay. Ms. You have that, Ms. Rumbo.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zakowski.
Madam President, you may go to number 12 for the motion to close session.
Yes, please. Ms. Keefe, would you take that, please?
Yes, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to into closed session, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presented exist, now therefore be it resolved by the North Brunswick Township Board of Education that the public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matters to be discussed is as follows: personnel matters and legal matters relating to the board vacancy. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This motion shall take effect immediately.
Thank you.
I have a second. Thank you. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Liguori,
Yes.
Mr. Liu,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
We can go to closed session.
Okay, folks, just hit your leave button. Amy, keep this host warm, and we'll be right back after we have our closed session discussion.
Okay, you have to go to the closed session meeting link now. Perfect.
Thank you for hanging in there, and hopefully you learned a little bit tonight how much the board values teaching and learning and recognizing our wonderful people. We just came back from a closed session. We only have one issue that the board has to vote on. I'm going to open it up to share for our chair of negotiations. I would ask Madam President to ask her to do this motion in 1 second. I will get it ready. And here you are.
I would like to make a motion to approve the successful ratification of the contract agreement between North Brunswick Township Board of Education and the North Brunswick Township Administrative Education Association contract agreement for the 2021 school year, which is in attachment 1.
Wait, hold on. Can I just?
Yes,
Rosa,
Jonathan.
you're on mute. We have to resume closed session before. I think we can.
Resume open session.
Sorry, resume open session.
Oh, you know what? That was my fault, and that was Rosa on mute. That's my fault. I jumped the gun.
That's okay. Let's. She doesn't have to read the whole thing again, is because everybody heard it, right? So all we have to do is make a motion to resume open session.
Right.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's been a
So is
second.
that Mr. Brockman and Colleen?
Let the record show, Ms. Hawk, it's 9:48.
Yes.
So this way we
Okay.
have it for the record.
Correct. Okay, so Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
Yes.
Mr. Lou,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez. We are back in open session.
Yes.
Okay, so now you already heard the motion.
Yes.
So now I guess if we could just get the motion again without the reading in the motion. You don't have to.
Let me
Colleen.
show it. Let me show it, Jonathan. You know how quick I am with this Zoom.
Oh, you've gotten good, I'll tell you.
Here we go.
Okay, so Colleen already read this to everyone, and
Yes, if
Colleen.
we need a second.
Second.
Matt, Ms. Hawk, hold on 1 second. I just want to say on behalf of you, Mr. Snyder, Jonathan from your office, Mr. Patella, that we want to thank the negotiating team, our board. It's been a long year. They've been involved with the teachers. They've been involved with, prior to that, the plant managers and now our administrators. I just want to thank them. This committee really, all hours of the night, putting together. Colleen's very responsive in trying to help us be creative and get everything out to the full committee. So I want to thank the committee and thank my staff.
To follow up with that, Dr. Z, I would like to thank you and your team, the administrators and their negotiating team, for everyone's hard work and effort and throughout the entire process. It was a pleasure. Your team is incredible. They always have the data available whenever necessary. You all provide incredible resources, and I do want to publicly thank all of you as well as thank the administrators and negotiating team.
I second that emotion.
Beautiful. Well said. Thank you again. So we had a motion and a second. That was a
Yes.
comment, discussion. Any other discussion points? If not, we're going to ask Ms. Hawk to read the roll call.
Yes. Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
Yes.
Mr. Lou,
Yes.
and Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passes. So now we're going to adjournment.
Well, I think we need a motion and a second for that.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Mr. Brockman,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes.
Ms. Keefe,
Yes.
Mr. Legori,
Yes.
Mr. Lou.
Howard, where are you?
He dropped off already.
I think we lost him. We have five to have enough
Yep.
to go into.
And Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll get back to
everyone.
questions and stuff if we remember. Thank you for everything. Long meeting. Thank you, Shelley. I see you on there.
Thank you.
Students, get some sleep. You're going to get a quiz on everything that happened tonight. Thank you very much. Bye now.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Have a good-